Take the hit, take the hit, take the hit. Welcome back to FPL Take the Hit. You're here with Mick and Joff, and today we are doing our Game Week 19 Hit Squad, our top picks for Game Week 19. I'm going to kick us off with our goalkeeper of the week. We're going to go with Mr. David Guetta. No, that's right, Guida in goal for Crystal Palace. He's just doing the business, mate. Obviously, they had one goal conceded against Newcastle in the last game, but prior to that, he got 26 points in 4 game weeks. So the guy's in stellar form. Can't really look past him, really, when you look at Palace. Job, why don't you take us on to our first defender?
First defender, we've got Mr. Lundstrom. Again, it's the same old story every single week. We don't really need to talk about it. Get him in your team. He's worth 5.2 now. It's like every single time we look at this screen, I've always got like the updated price, and it's like 5.2. Wow, like he's going to be 6 before we know it. And what about, who's next, Mick?
I'm going to go with another defender from Sheffield, Mr. Boldock. The guy, I mean, if you look actually at chances created in the last 4 game weeks, Boldock's up there, mate. I'm actually surprised to see this stat. He's had 4 chances created in the last 4 game weeks. I mean, it's nothing to sniff at, but he's a defender in the end. So that's up there. That's actually 5th best of any defender in the last 4 game weeks. So not too bad. Plus, obviously, the clean sheet potential. That's what we're going for with this Sheffield backline. All right, take us on to our last defender for the week.
So we've got Kelly. I mean, another Palace player here. They've kept 3 in a row a couple of weeks back, and they've copped 2 goals in the last 2 games. But I feel like they're due a cleanie as well. So hopefully Palace keep it clean, Mick. But let's move on to the midfield. Who we got? Who's first in there?
Midfielders, and that's right. Chelsea boy had a great game against Spurs. Basically won us the game. Well, he did win us the game. Not basically, he did. With his 2 goals. Only had 2 attempts in that game, though. Both on target. Both went in. But he did create 5 chances against Spurs, which is interesting to know.
Yeah.
And he has created 11 chances in the last 4 game weeks. So he's actually a really good shout in regards to his creativity, mate. But all right, take us on to the next midfielder.
Interesting option, William. You never know. It could be really good. So next up, we've got Dele Alli. So with Son out, Ali's the guy. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 and 2 assists as well in his last 5. So he's blanked in the last 2. So not perfect form, but I still think that he's a really good shout this week.
Not very good, mate. Well, next up in the midfield is Mr. Jack Grealish. Aston Villa, not in good form, but Jack Grealish, good form, and Captain Jack, he's doing the business for Aston Villa, really holding him up. He's the talisman for Aston Villa. So the guy missed a penalty, fair enough, but him being on penalties, big deal. He's created 12 chances in the last 4 game weeks. Another big deal. 4th best out of any midfielder. So you really can't look past him. At that price too, 6.3 million, he's really good at enabling the rest of your team, Joff. Who is our last midfielder for the week?
All right, we've saved the best till last. Mohamed Salah. He's back from Dubai, or where was it? Qatar, I think it is. But he's back in town, ready for business. He's got 29 points in his last 2 game weeks in FPL. So he's going to be wanting to continue that form, and I think he will. And I think that he's definitely a captain choice potential, but he's not ours. But let's move on to the forwards.
Yep, very nice, mate. I'm going to kick us off with Mr. Rashford. Mr. Rashford, he blanked against Watford, which was a little bit disappointing for owners like myself. But in saying that, he's still in massive form. The guy is leading the way for goal attempts in the last 4 game weeks amongst forwards with 17. So he's still up there, mate. He scored 3 goals in the last 4, which is 1 behind Jamie Vardy. So it's hard to look past Rashford with this game at home to Newcastle. Who else do we have in the forward line, Joff?
All right, so Jamie Vardy, he's our captain as well. We're just going to stick with him. He's just on this unbelievable run of FPL form as well, because he's just not blanking for us. So I feel like there's a lot of us that were considering him or not even giving him the respect. He goes and gets 9 points against City. So against Liverpool, he fears no one. He's just completely fearless. Jamie Vardy, captain's armband. Who's next, Mick?
Next up, last but not least, another Chelsea boy, Timmy Abraham. So we're hoping that Chelsea have picked up their form. He did have a disallowed goal against Spurs, which was rightly ruled offside. Thank you, VAR. But in saying that, he is still just in behind Rashford on 14 goal attempts in the last 4. So his form is there. He has only scored 1 goal in the last 4, but we see that changing with this game, Southampton at home on the weekend.
Definitely.
Midweek, my bad. All right, Joff, take us into our first. Who we got on the bench for our goalkeepers?
All right, so on the bench, we've got Henderson. So we're actually spoiled here. We've got another Sheffield player on the bench there. We just love their defence. They keep it clean. And Hendo got an assist in the last game week, which I liked because this is my team. But all right, who's next, man? Who's next on the bench?
First on the bench is it's someone that I've been trying to bring in forever, but he's always been like point 0.1, point 0.2 away from me getting him into my team. It's Todd Cantwell. He's like an annoying little cockroach that just won't die. He just keeps on delivering when you need him too, because people are only playing him in these like blank game weeks or whenever he comes off the bench or whatever, and all of a sudden just go, whatever. Anyway, Todd Cantwell, he's a great fifth midfielder. If I could own him, and I will soon, don't worry, Todd, I'm coming for you. He's a great shout. Who's second on our bench?
Man, Cantwell's been ridiculous for me. I love him. Second on the bench, we're sport on the bench here. We've got Aurier, so from Tottenham. So he was close to making the starting lineup, but we thought, you know what, throw him on the bench. We'll go with the Sheffield and Palace defenders. So yeah, probably a clean sheet as well. So not a bad shout there at 5.1 million. And who is last on the bench, Mick?
Lastly, we've got Meister Mason Holgate. So he's playing for this Everton team, playing in the central midfield role. So it's playing a bit out of position. So it's really going to be determined whether or not Ancelotti comes in or not. Is he signed yet, or it's in the mix or whatever?
It's done, yeah.
It is done, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays in, because, I mean, Holgate, he's a good player. He will get into that 11, just depending on where he plays defense or out of position in the midfield. So good shout there, cheap price as well. Well, that pretty much wraps us up, Joff. That is our hit squad for Game Week 19. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that subscribe, give us a like, and we'll be back real soon with our next video.
That's it. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all as well. It's that time of year. So yeah, have a safe Christmas, guys. And thanks for all the love you give us on our YouTube videos. Thank you.
Yes, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for having a great year this year. We've had a great. We'll be back, obviously, pumping out more content and in the new year. So we've had an awesome year, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As we said, FPL Take the Hit. Always remember to stay positive.
Keep chasing them green arrows, guys.
Especially over this Christmas period.
I like it.
Yeah. Take the hit. Take the hit.